Hello students, today we are going to see a supplement reader, A Shot in the Dark, written by Saki. Hector Hugh Munro. About the author, Hector Hugh Munro, born on 18th December 1870 and from 14th died on 14th November 1916. Better known by the pen name Saki. His pen name is Saki and also frequently as H. H. Munro. Was a British writer whose witty, mischievous, and sometimes macabre stories satirize Edwardian society and culture. He is considered a master of short story and often compared to O. Henry. Besides his short stories, he wrote a full-length play, The Watched Pot, in collaboration with Charles Maud. So Hector Hugh Munro, his pen name is Saki, and he is frequently called with the name H. H. Munro, and he was a British writer. This is between these pictures. So there are 10 differences between these two pictures. Find out. How observant are you? Individually try to spot as many differences as possible in 5 minutes. If you have spotted less than 5, then you really need to improve your observation skill just to save yourself from being misled. Philip Slatherby settled himself down in an almost empty railway carriage with a pleasant consciousness of being embarked on an agreeable and profitable pilgrimage. He was bound for Brill Manor, the country residence of his newly achieved acquaintance, Mrs. Salpin Jago. Honoria Salpin Jago was a person of some social importance in London, of considerable importance and the influence in the country of Chalkshire. The country of Chalkshire, or at any rate the eastern division of it, was of immediate personal interest to Philip Slatherby. It was held for the government in the present parliament by a gentleman who did not intend to seek re-election, and Slatherby was under serious consideration by the party managers as his possible successor, and with luck the seat might be held. The Salpin Jago influence was not an item which could be left out of consideration, and the political aspirant had been delighted at meeting Honoria at a small and friendly luncheon party, still more gratified when she had asked him down to her country house for the following Friday to Tuesday. He was obviously on approval, and if he could secure the goodwill of his hostess, he might count on her nominating him as an assured thing. If he failed to find favor in her eyes, well, the local leaders would probably cool off in their embryo enthusiasm for him. Explanation of this paragraph. Philip Slatherby. Who is this Philip Slatherby? We have already seen this Philip Slatherby. Philip Slatherby, a man who aspires to become a politician, right? A man who aspires to become a politician. What is he doing? Philip Slatherby wanted to meet Mrs. Salpin Jago, an influential lady. Okay? In this story, Philip Slatherby travelled by train towards Brill Manor. Brill Manor is a residence of Mrs. Salpin Jago. Okay? Why he wants to meet Mrs. Salpin Jago? In order to get a seat in the parliament re-election. Do you understand? Philip Slatherby wants to meet Mrs. Salpin Jago, and that is why he is heading towards Brill Manor by train. Do you understand? Do you understand? Philip Slatherby settled himself in an almost empty railway carriage. How he is going? He is going by train. Okay, he is going by train with a pleasant consciousness of being boarded on an agreeable and profitable pilgrimage. It is going to be a profitable pilgrimage for him. If he gets good name from Mrs. Salpin Jago, then he will become a politician. He was bound for Brill Manor, the country residence of his newly achieved acquaintance. Acquaintance means friend Mrs. Alpin Jago. Who's this Alpin Jago? Alpin Jago is a rich and influential lady. Honoria, respected. Honoria means what? Respected. Honoria, honor, a woman of reputation. Honoria means honor, a woman of reputation. Okay, respectable woman, right? Honoria Salpin Jago was a person of some social importance in London. Salpin Jago was a person of some social importance in London, of considerable importance and influence in the country of Yorkshire, and she has got influence of Yorkshire, not country, in the county of Yorkshire. Okay, the county of Yorkshire, or at any rate the eastern division of it, was of immediate personal interest to Phillips Leatherby. Phillips Leatherby wants to participate in the re-election in the eastern division of Yorkshire. Do you understand? It was held for the government in the present parliament by gentlemen who did not intend to seek re-election, and Leatherby was under serious consideration by the party managers as his possible successor, and with luck the seat might be held. So the party managers are thinking that Phillips Leatherby is the right person to be re-elected in that constituency, in that parliament seat. The Salpin Jago influence was not an item which could be left out of consideration, and the political aspirant had been delighted at meeting Honoria at a small and friendly luncheon party, still more gratified when she had asked him down to her country house for the following Friday to Tuesday. So Phillips Leatherby met Mrs. Salpin Jago in a luncheon party, and he was more gratified. She was so happy, and when Mrs. Salpin Jago asked him to visit his country house for the following Friday to Tuesday. Phillips Leatherby is going for Brill Manor. Where is Brill Manor? What is Brill Manor? Brill Manor is the residence of Mrs. Salpin Jago. Why Phillips Leatherby is going to Brill Manor? In order to get a good name, so that he will get a seat in the parliament re-election. I'll continue. He was obviously on approval, and if he could secure the goodwill of his hostess, who is the hostess here? Mrs. Salpin Jago, he might count on her nominating him as an assured thing. If he failed to find a favor in her eyes, if he failed to do so, if he failed to get a good name from Mrs. Salpin Jago, well, the local leaders would probably cool off in their embryo enthusiasm for him. The local leaders will suppress his aspiration. Okay, so in order to get a good name from Mrs. Salpin Jago, this Phillips Leatherby is traveling by train and to meet Mrs. Salpin Jago in her country residence. Among the passengers dotted about on the platform, awaiting their respective trains, Leatherby espied a club acquaintance and called him up to the carriage window for a chat. So there were passengers. Phillips Leatherby is in train. Phillips Leatherby is in train, right? So the train is stationed in the railway station, and awaiting, you could see a lot of passengers awaiting for their respective trains. Leatherby espied. Espied means caught sight. He saw a club acquaintance, a club friend, and Phillips Leatherby called that club friend up to the carriage so that they could have a chat through the window. He is sitting near the window. Oh, you are staying with Mrs. Salpin Jago for the weekend, are you? I expect you will have a good time. She has the reputation of being an excellent hostess. She'll be useful to you too. If that parliament project, hello, you are off. Goodbye. So that acquaintance, that club friend says to Phillips Leatherby that he's going to have a nice time with Mrs. Salpin Jago because she's going to be an excellent hostess. And he's appreciating and congratulating him for the parliamentary project, right? And he bid goodbye and left the place. Do you understand? Shall we move on to the next one? Leatherby waved goodbye to his friend, pulled up the window, and turned his attention to the magazine lying on his lap. So Leatherby waved goodbye to the club acquaintance, club friend, and pulled up the window. He pulled up the window and turned his attention to the magazine. lying on his lap. So he started looking at a magazine. He had scarcely glanced at a couple of pages. However, when a smothered curse caused him to glance hastily at the only other occupant of the carriage. So while he was looking at the magazine, the other occupant of the carriage actually gets his attention. His traveling companion was a young man. This is the description of the only other occupant who is in the carriage. His traveling companion was a young man about 22. He's 22 years old with dark hair, fresh complexion, and blend of smartness and disarray that marks the costume of a nut who is bound on a rustic holiday. So he's everything, right? So he's 22 years old. He looks like a 22-year was a young man of about 22 with dark hair, a fresh complexion, and blend of smartness and disarray that marks the costume of a nut who is bound on a rustic holiday. He's going on a holiday, right? What holiday? Rustic means a rural holiday. So what is the description of the young man? He looked 22 years old and he had a dark hair, and he was having a fresh complexion and a blend of smartness and disarray. Okay, smartness and disarray that marks the costume of a nut. And he looked like a country man who is bound, a dirty man who is bound on a rustic holiday. He was engaged in searching furiously and ineffectually means in vain, uselessly, for some elusive or non-existent object. He was searching for something which is not at all existent. From time to time, he dug a sixpenny bit out of a waistcoat pocket and stared at it ruefully. Ruefully means sorrowfully. Recommenced the futile searching operations. See, that 22-year-old man was searching for something that was like a non-existent object. So that is not that much important. Like from time to time he took a sixpenny bit out of waistcoat pocket and stared at it ruefully, sorrowfully. He actually stared at a sixpenny. Okay, sixpenny. How many penny? Sixpenny bit out of a waistcoat pocket and stared at it ruefully. Then recommenced and again started the futile searching operations. So what are the things that was on the seat? A cigarette case, a matchbox, a latch key, silver pencil case, and railway ticket were turned out onto the seat beside him. But none of these articles seemed to afford him satisfaction. He cursed again, rather louder than before. The vigorous pantomime did not draw forth any remark from Slutherby, who resumed his scrutiny of the magazine. Pantomime means exaggerated behavior. So what is happening? Do you understand what's happening? What is happening in the train? So this young man was searching for something, and he's taking out the sixpenny out and seeing it ruefully, sorrowfully, and there were some things on the seat: a cigarette case, matchbox, a latch key, silver pencil case, railway ticket were turned out onto the seat beside him. But none of these articles seem to afford him satisfaction. He is not satisfied looking at them. He cursed again. He is cursing himself again, rather louder than before. The vigorous pantomime, these exaggerated behavior. See, there are only two persons traveling in the train. One is Philip Slutherby, the other is Bertie. That man is Bertie, and he is searching for something, and did not draw forth any remark from Slutherby, who resumed his scrutiny of the magazine, who started reading the magazine without noticing what is happening in the carriage. I say, exclaimed a young voice presently, didn't I hear you saying you were going down to stay with Mrs. Alpenjago at Brill Manor? What a coincidence. My mater, I'm coming on there on Monday evening, so we shall meet. I'm quite a stranger, haven't seen the mater for 6 months at least. I was away yachting last time she was in town. I'm Bertie, the second son, I say, it's an awfully lucky coincidence that I should run across someone who knows the mater just at this particular moment. I have done a damned awkward thing. So the other companion, actually the traveler, introduced himself as Mrs. Alpenjago's second son, and he was very happy to meet an acquaintance of his own mater. Mater means mother. So Bertie was so happy to meet an acquaintance at this a particular difficult time, right? And he's quite a stranger. And also added that he hadn't seen the mater, the mother, for 6 months at least, because he was boating. Yachting means boating. Last time she was in town, and says that he was so lucky to have someone who knows the mater just at that particular moment, because he had done a damned awkward thing, right? Shall we continue? You have lost something, haven't you? Said Slatherby. So Slatherby said that you lost something, right? Not exactly, but left behind, which is almost as bad, just as inconvenient anyway. I've come away without my sovereign purse, with 4 quid in it, all my worldly wealth for the moment. It was in my pocket, all right, just before I was starting, and then I wanted to seal a letter, and the sovereign purse happens to have my crest on it, so I whipped it out to stamp the seal with, and like a double distilled idiot, I must have left it on the table. I had some silver loose in my pocket, but after I had paid for a taxi and my ticket, I had only got this forlorn little sixpence left. I'm stopping at a little country inn near Broadway for 3 days fishing. Not a soul knows me there, and my weekend bill and tips and cab too from the station, and my ticket on to Brill that will mount up to 2 or 3 quid, won't it? If you wouldn't mind lending me £2.10 or 3 for preference, I shall be awfully obliged. It will pull me out of no end of a hole. So from this we can understand that, from this passage we can understand that Bertie had come away without his purse, wallet. Okay, that is called sovereign purse. And he had 4 quids in it. How many quid? 4 quid in it. Bertie had 4 quid in this, in his purse. £1. Okay, what is quid? £1 sterling. Quid means £1 sterling. All his worldly wealth for the moment, and he was engaged in searching for it, and that was his problem actually. Do you understand? So he left behind the wallet. He wanted to seal a letter. At those times, they need to seal a letter. If a letter is written, they need to seal it. Every family has got a crest. On the other side, you can see crest. Okay, a kind of this thing. You have to seal a letter with this. Okay, if it is sealed, then it is a reliable thing, right? So what he says, Bertie says that he wanted to seal a letter and left behind the sovereign purse. Sovereign purse means the wallet. Do you understand? And he, like a double distilled idiot, like an idiot, left behind the purse on the table, and it had 4 quid in it, and he had, after that he had some silver loose in his pocket, and he paid for a taxi, and he took ticket, and only 6 pence left. What he says? Next thing, he says that he is stopping at a little country inn near Broadway. Broadway is the next place, next station, and he is going to be there for 3 days. What is going to do? He is going to fish. Not a soul knows me there. Nobody knows him, knows Bertie in that place, and he is going to spend the weekend there. And he has to pay bills, tips, and cab to and fro from the station. And my ticket on to Brill that will mount up to 2 or 3 quids. And he says that for all the expenditure, I need 2 to 3 quids, won't it? So it would, if you wouldn't mind lending me £2.10 or 3 for preference. So he's asking his companion, the other companion, who is Philip Slatherby, who is according to him, according to Bertie, he knows Mrs. Alpenjago, right? If he could lend him 3 for preference, he will be highly obliged, and he believes that it will pull him out of no end of a hole. It will pull out him from the difficult situation. That's what he believes. Who believes? Bertie believes. Do you understand? Dark, Philip Leatherby travelled by train towards Brill Manor. His intention of travelling was to get a seat in the Parliament re-election. He relied on one lady named Salpin Jago, an influential lady. Okay. And his companion on the train introduced himself as Bertie. The young man was about 22. He was second son of Salpin Jago. He was searching for something frantically, but he could not find the thing he sought. He had left his purse behind after sealing an envelope with a crest on the purse. Often he cursed himself. Okay, so this is what has happened so far, and he left his purse behind with a crest. In order to seal a letter, he took the purse out and he left the purse in house, and he needs money to spend the weekend, and he is lending, he is asking the help of Philip Leatherby, who knows Mrs. Salpin Jago. What Philip Leatherby is going to do here. That's the story. That's all for today. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.